We suck again!
Rock and roll, Mike. Let's do it.
Another week.
Another week, another podcast, another loss.
Yeah, they're racking up, aren't they?
Man, another loss. That was a nail biter last week. I mean, there was several times where I thought we lost.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good game. Just overall, it was a good game.
If you were an impartial fan of the game, watching that game, you had a good time watching the product.
Yeah.
The NFL.
Especially for it being a primetime game, it was a good primetime game. There was a lot to it, especially with the overtime, even though, we ultimately lost. It was a good game for primetime, I think.
Yes. I mean, obviously, we would prefer an overtime game like that to happen at the 1 o'clock window.
Yes.
Not necessarily the Sunday night window, because we didn't get home till 2.
Yeah, it was around 2. Well,
maybe I'm only mentioning that because, and I'll just preface, hopefully I don't yawn during this podcast, but I was telling you, I'm a little dragged out. My grandfather's 90th birthday party was yesterday, and we got with all the cousins, and we stayed up late, and I stayed up even later. Thank you very much, Cousin Tom and Richie, for snoring away in the basement on the couch last night. That was fun. That was a great time. But payback's a bitch, Tom, because I woke your ass up early to help me jump my car this morning. So thank you for that. But anyway, the game last week. I mean, let's just do this real quick before we get into it. One thing at a time. The agenda needs to be set. Thank you all for joining us for the Command the Community podcast. We got the Minnesota Vikings this week at 1 o'clock. It's currently 11:44. We're hoping to get this podcast out to you before the game starts. But we've got a recap on last week's game. We've got our Can't Lose Locks. We've got our Beast and Least segment of the podcast. And then we're going to break down the Minnesota Vikings game that we've got coming up here very soon, as soon as we can. So we're going to fly through these segments so we can get this out to you. Let's start the podcast here with last week's recap. We always got to talk about the tailgate. Mike, spit it out to me. We're starting with the kebabs. We had steak kebabs. We had pork chop kebabs. They were beautifully cooked, well seasoned. What's your overall food ranking? If for those that have been following along all season long, they know how much you love giving me this ranking.
Right, and they probably don't care as much as I don't.
No, I disagree. I think everybody cares. They want to know how the food was. I mean, we're a football tailgate podcast. It's got to be a part of it, bro.
So anyway, let's say 9.
Another 9? Listen, you're not going to sabotage the food ranking segment by just giving every week a 9.
Look, the food is good. What do you want? I don't like the number thing. It was good. I actually preferred the pork over the steak.
Okay.
Because the lemon pepper seasoning really kind of did it for me.
Okay.
I thought I would like the steak ones better, but
I'm surprised.
I don't think I did.
I'm surprised by that. I put a little lemon pepper seasoning on there left over from the Atlanta game on those wings. So it's the same flavor.
Well, that was a good combination.
Yeah, I thought it might be. I'm glad you liked it. So your homework between now and next week is you need to give us an acceptable food review. It doesn't need to be a number, doesn't need to be a grade, but you're going to have to lead the food set because I cook the food, Mike. So you need to tell the people how the food was. That's just how it's got to be. So your homework is to come up with your review.
They'll live without it.
No, they won't.
They have thus far.
I won't. So let's get into the football. Another overtime loss. Coming off of the Miami-Spain overtime loss. Now we've got the Broncos overtime loss. So the good is we kind of look like ourselves again.
We did look like a more complete team. We just couldn't, again, pull away with the win. But it did seem like we were a more complete team. I definitely didn't see all the big defensive and offensive problems that we've seen, in the weeks leading up to this game. It just seemed like a better, well-executed game.
Yeah, basically, the issues that we had in that game were because the Broncos are a good football team.
Yeah.
But it wasn't through lack of our competitiveness. We weren't diligently shooting ourselves in the foot like we had in weeks past. Now, I don't know what it looked like for you folks at home watching on TV with the replays and some of the analysis, but us sitting up in the stands, there were quite a few plays from the referee that I wasn't a huge fan
Yeah, there
of.
were at least, and again, like you said, I don't know how it played on TV, but it did seem like there were some questionable calls by the refs, at least in the stadium. But I don't know how it played on TV because I didn't record the game and watch anything back.
Right.
But yeah, there were some interesting moments in that game from an officiating standpoint, it seemed like.
They really need to figure out some officiating problems that we have. And I think one of the problems is this. I like the expedited review process. I like the fact that if the guy watching it on the screen from the camera angle can see that it was a bad call or that his foot was out or in or whatever, I like how they could just boom, overturn it right away.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, there's this whole thing with the challenges and, the call on the field, and there's got to be enough proof to overturn the call on the field. But it seems like, wait, they can change the call on the field. And then to what extent does the coach need to wait for that expedited review to come in, because he's got his hand on the flat. But if they're going to do it, he's not going to waste the challenge.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised over the next, maybe this offseason and in the next offseason, if we see some rule changes to kind of hone in and make it a little bit better, because I do see it from the perspective of watching it from home. Sometimes I can see it instantly from home and see where the ref made the mistake. And then I'm like, oh, I'm glad that they just, boom, expedited it. But it seems like there's been a couple instances where it's like, wait, like, does he challenge? Does he not? The call on the field was originally a catch, but then they reversed it, and now it's a challenge. So it gets confusing.
And to your point on that, like with the new virtual measurement for the first down, I think that's bullshit.
I've only seen that come into play one time.
Because they only use it sporadically, and I think it's based off of wherever the judge, the officiating judge, the referee places the ball on the field. So it's just it leaves it's open to too much interpretation, and I don't like it. I think there's got to be a better way to do the virtual measurement.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know how they can do it. I almost think that they need to take a step back from the technology and just go back human
to the
error, and just tell people, like, this is how it is. This is how it is. It is what it is, and people lived with it forever. But now you've got all this technology introduced, it's like, at what point do you just start pinpointing a laser to where the chip in the ball said the ball was down? And I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to a little bit. I mean, the defense looks better since DQ took over.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they really are put in situations, and it's just so weird how Dan is obviously in the same building. He's been overseeing Witten and what he's been doing all year. But it's just like, I guess that's a testament to Dan Q as a head coach, just to give the reins and say, look, this is your defense.
Right.
Like, do it your way. But yeah, he's definitely improved the defense in a short time frame, and I'm hoping that continues on to today. But it looked like we were better defensively. The only other things that I've got here is Terry McLaurin. Glad to see him back. Him back. I mean, he really showed us right off the bat, like, what we've been missing. Last week, he was targeted 14 times. He had 7 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown. And Debo was the one that scored in overtime. Terry's got called back. Is that correct?
Debo got us down to the 2-yard line with that catch. Yeah, he didn't score, but he got down to the 2.
Yeah, but those were 2 back-to-back impressive plays, and that was another really good catch by Terry. And then Traylon Burks, he's getting praise all along the league, and we've kind of seen his progression with our team and how he's been introduced. And
that catch was next level. That was,
gosh, I from sitting in our seats right immediately, I thought that was Terry.
I think the whole stadium did for a minute.
For a hot second on our side, just from because on the home side, and that was on the opposite corner of the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
To see that. And the replays, they kept showing those replays, but we needed that at that point in the game so bad.
Yeah. I mean, it helped us out for sure. It was crucial.
But it goes back to, what I kind of started this recap with was it does kind of look like this looks like what we looked like last year. I mean, even though we lost the game and we lost by 1 point in overtime because we went for it for the 2-point conversion. And man, that dude was open. Marcus just threw it right at the guy's hands.
Well, I mean, it's been...
He needed to float it. He gave it more of a dart, but...
I mean, this season has been... And that game, it's a tale of 2 seasons. All the breaks we got last season are not breaking our way this season. It's the complete polar opposite, And had we not gotten the breaks that we got last year that led us to the NFC Championship game, last season we probably would be 3-9,
right.
At this point. But we had luck on our side. We don't have it this year.
Right.
So, but we've been talking about that off and on. It is what it is. Next season better be much improved.
And it's kind of what I was saying last week too, that next season can start now. I mean, we can just call this 6-game losing streak we've been on. We can just call it, as its own little mini season, and then finish this season off right. And Dan said on Hard Knocks after last week's game, he kind of told everybody kind of the same thing that we're saying, that things look like they're a little bit better. So we'll give you guys that clip.
Appreciate you guys, man. Hey. Oh, you guys fought your ass off. I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Come on in. Now I'm dying with you, man. And one thing I would say, man, we also recaptured the competitive dog. All right, so I want you to understand that's a big deal about who we are and what we stand for and that. So it doesn't change the result. Trust me, all right? We lost, but we're not lost anymore. You know what I'm saying by that? Sometimes you get your heartbroken, you got to lay it all out there. All right, it's things tonight for sure. But we lost, but we are not lost anymore.
All right, so I mean, obviously, fun watching our team and kind of getting the behind the scenes look in Hard Knocks and kind of seeing the locker room talk. And
we've been waiting for it all season.
Oh yeah. So, and like Dan just said, it was a little bit confusing the first time I saw it. It's like we lost, but we're not lost anymore. But I think really what he means by that is that we've been lost in the first half of this season for the most part, going through the injuries and everything. But that ball that we played last week looked more like our style of ball, the ball that DQ came in playing last year. So defensive, offensive.
I certainly hope that's the case, because we can't be any more lost than how we've been this season. So I hope he's right. I hope this game is the catalyst that makes us turn the corner for, the last 5 games of the year.
Right. And hats off to the Broncos. I mean, these guys are good.
Yeah, but I mean, we played right with them the entire game.
Yeah. And I think that the way that we kind of, because we really pressured Bo Nix, just like I said we would have to stay competitive in that game. We put him off schedule several times in that game, and I think we're the game plan's very similar going into today's game against J.J. McCarthy. So I'm hoping that same thing, and if we could do that same thing defensively, that same defensive game plan this week against Minnesota as we did last week, even a little bit better than we did against Denver, then I think we're going to be okay today. But we'll wait till the fourth quarter to bring that up. Let's get into our second quarter. The can't lose locks.
Can't lose locks.
All right. So, Mike, how'd you do?
I did really well last week, even though
all things considered, you were 0-4 going into Sunday.
Right, going into Sunday.
Okay.
I finished 9-7.
Woo!
So,
snuck another one out here. Man.
I thought for sure that was going to be my losing week with that 0-4 start. I thought I was really screwed.
And you kind of conceded to a losing record last week, and you were content with it. And then I could see throughout the games that things were turning away, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So run us through today's games.
Okay. Well, first I'll just recap for everybody. Not only was I 9-7, but my overall record, including the Thursday night game this week, I am at 123 wins and 73 losses, if I have everything calculated correctly. As for my picks this week, of course, the Thursday night, I got the win. I went with the Lions over the Cowboys. That was a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that was a safety, but that's neither here nor there.
Look, they just don't give out safeties like they used to anymore. You used to give a little bit of credit to the defense for getting it, but like with the forward progress bullshit, when the quarterback's got that ball, it's just like, good.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So looking at the 1:00 games today, I took the Seahawks over the Falcons. I took the Ravens over the Steelers in that divisional game, but that's a divisional game, so I expect that to be a hard-fought, close game, but I went with the Ravens. I went with the Titans over the Browns. I went with the Colts over the Jaguars. I'll skip our game because we're going to talk about that shortly. I went with the Dolphins over the Jets. And I went with the Bucks over the Saints. And for the final game in the 1:00 hour, I went with the Bills over the Bengals. Looking at your 4:00 games, I went with the Broncos over the Raiders. I went with the Packers over the Bears. I went with the Rams over the Cardinals. For Sunday night, I went with the Chiefs over the Texans. And for Monday night, I went with the Chargers over the Eagles.
All right. So I don't know how you're picking on the Washington versus Minnesota game, but through all those picks there, you've got two dogs. Tennessee over Cleveland is an underdog, and Chargers are just a slight 1.5 point dog to the Eagles at LA. But I'll tell you this, I was going through these picks today. There's some tough games. So I'll be curious how your picks end up with all that. I've been stalling a little bit here for Tombo because, I don't know, maybe he's sleeping in and had a rough night last night. I don't know what he's doing, but he didn't get his picks in yet. He's got till 1:00, or right now as I speak, it's 12:02. So
let's talk
by the end of the podcast, he gets them in. I'll plug them in. But last week, I gained a little bit of ground. Tom went 2-2. I went 3-1 to bring my record up to 30-21-1. and Tom is at 33-19 over the season. So
Okay.
I'm 3 wins away, but you got a little bit at a time. Now, if for whatever reason Tombo is sick or not feeling well this morning, doesn't get his picks in by 1, then he's limited to the 4 o'clock window. So you better get him in.
I'm sure he will.
We'll see. My picks. I went Indy -1.5. I went here. Let me pull this up here. I went Indy -1.5 over Jacksonville. I went Atlanta as my dog +7 versus Seattle at home. And that's kind of why I kind of leaned there. We got Kirk back at the helm. And then I went Pittsburgh, Baltimore, under 43.5 points. Those games always seem to be low scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, would you be shocked if that game is 7-13?
No.
I mean, that's kind of why.
Because the divisional games they're always an unknown, no matter how good or bad each team is going in to any divisional game across the league. When it's a divisional game, it's literally all bets are off. It's
And those two teams,
totally unexpected either way.
yeah, those two teams, those two coaches, they know each other better than any other two teams could know each other around the league. So, so I went under on the Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and then I went over 43.5 Washington, Minnesota.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, I had a tough time going through to try to find an underdog to put money on with the spread this week. It was really, really tough.
So where'd you end up?
So I like I said, I went Atlanta +7 over Jacksonville. But I mean, I'm not feeling great about it. I kind of just leaned on the fact that I was getting a full 7 points to Atlanta at home is kind of what my logic was there.
Okay.
So hoping they can keep it close and then get the spread, get the cover there. So, yeah, another good week. I'm feeling good. Oh, last week, just to finish up our Can't Lose Locks.
Yeah.
I made a accidental $30 bet last week.
Okay.
I think I meant to make like a $3 bet. I just spread a bunch of $3, $4, $5 bets around.
Okay. You usually don't make those kind of mistakes when it comes to your bets.
Yeah, I added an extra 0 in there somehow. And
so how'd that turn out for you?
I won it. It was a $30 bet that paid out like $65.
What was the bet?
Let me see. Let me pull it up here now that I have it. But I opened up my DraftKings account this morning. I was like, "Whoa, what's that?" I didn't know that I won that. Okay, so let's see. You won. Oh, and I didn't realize that the bets that I put in on our game hit either. Oh, yeah, I just went, for whatever reason, I didn't add in the over on the Cleveland game. I just parlayed my 3 picks. I went Carolina, Buffalo, and the over. And, yeah, $30 bet paid out $65, which I feel like it should be more. Oh, no, it was a round robin. But...
Well, that's good.
I feel like I never make round robin, so I just feel like I must have been just pushing buttons. But hey, it won. So there's that. But the other bet that I did make on purpose, let me see this. It was a $1 bet that won $21, which makes me wish I would have bet $10. Marcus Mariota over 230 rushing and passing yards combined. I had Commanders +6.5. I went Marcus Mariota with 2 passing touchdowns. I went Marcus Mariota over 190 passing yards, and then Chris Rodriguez anytime touchdown score. $1 paid out 21.
Wow!
And I wish I would have paid put $100 on it.
Well,
I've been $1,000
maybe the next time you'll make a mistake and add another 0.
Hey, could happen today. I got some DraftKings tokens in my account, so I can just spend them however I want. Right? It's not real money; it's just DraftKings tokens, to my logic. But
There you go.
all right, well, I'm ready for our next segment. Not our can't lose locks. Our beast and least.
Yep.
Dallas Sox, go Birds. It's the greatest city in the world.
It was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Go Birds, ELGS, Eagles.
Washington football team.
NFC East. From beast to least.
All right, our NFC East beast or least. It was my week to go with the least, and Mike, it was really difficult for me to find another NFC least other than drum roll, the Washington Commanders. We're on a 7-game losing streak.
That's obvious.
Back-to-back overtime losses. I know the Giants are having their own struggles. I know what the other two teams have been up to, but it just seems that we're a couple weeks into this segment. We gotta have the Commandos as the least one of these weeks, based off of the season that we've been having. So we'll keep it there. Nice, short, sweet little least. You know?
Oh.
Do you want me to go in depth into how bad we are? We pretty much talk about that the whole podcast.
Yeah, you don't really need to.
We've been sucking, but our
intro says it. So.
Right, we suck again. But I will say this. I felt like this was an appropriate week to have them as our least. Kind of going back to that same sentiment that was from the Hard Knocks clip of where we were lost, but not anymore. And hopefully with Jaden coming back,
we better be
back and some injuries getting better on both sides of the ball. I'm hoping that we're not going to be a contender for the least much anymore. So we'll see. Obviously, there's a lot of season to be had, and we got essentially our division after this game. We just got the Giants, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Eagles left. So
yeah, it's all divisional games after today.
And depending upon depending on how you look at it, we're very familiar with Minnesota, and you'll get into that in our fourth quarter. But we're very familiar with Minnesota as well. So hopefully we can use all that to our advantage. And now that we're healthy, we can bring it back around. But we have to be the least based off of what has happened, what has transpired in 2025. We suck.
Yeah.
We suck again.
We do indeed.
But hoping that's not the case much longer.
Maybe we're no longer lost, but found. But, Dan Quinn better hope so.
Yeah. It's time to command and conquer. But let's go on. Tell us your beast. I'm very, very curious with your beast now that I kind of set that new precedence last week with thinking outside the box. So I'm curious if you've just went with the Giants, or if you went with just, I don't know, what's been going, Jameis Winston on NFL Fox this morning, if that's your beast.
No, but I did. He was on there, or is going to be on there, or CBS or somewhere.
That guy is so entertaining. He don't have to worry about finding work after football. One of these news stations, and it's probably Fox, is going to scoop him up right away. And they need to put him on sidelines. They need to put him out in the field. Don't get that guy in an office. Put him out there with the people, because he's just hilarious. He's always been hilarious. But who's your beast?
All right. So, while there could be an argument that the beast is still Chicago, because they're the opposite of Washington. They won 7 straight, where we lost 7 straight. But I think kind of the sleeping giant of the NFC, at least from my perspective, might be the Rams at 9-3. They are 4-1 in their last 5 games. They won against the Colts, Titans, Texans, and they lost to the Eagles. They have wins against the Ravens, the Jaguars, the Saints, the Niners, Seahawks, and Tampa Bay. Offensively, they are in top 10 in just about everything. They are 8th in total yards, 6th in passing yards, 6th in points scored, and they're 19th in rushing yards. Their defense, they're 13th in total yards, 17th in pass yards, 14th in rush yards, and 2nd in points. And they are tied for 1st in the NFC West. So I think they're a sleeping giant.
Are they your early? They're the second seed right now in the NFC in terms of the playoff rankings. So, are they going to be your playoff team to look for? I mean, that's kind of our next kind of transition here as the season progresses on. We start looking ahead at the playoffs. Are they your team to watch?
I think when they're in the playoffs, for me, they are always a team to watch. I think, they are just overall a good team and have been for, several seasons. So I always kind of do root for them when we get into the playoff picture. How deep will they go? I don't know. I'll have to see
how it all matches up.
How everything matches up and sort of what the playoff field looks like. But I think
just occurred to me. I mean, I
think they continue to be a strong contender.
I would say we're going to have to make a playoff bracket for after our season is over, and as we kind of continue with the podcast through the playoffs. I mean, we're going to have to make that bracket and see how we did. Very similar to that damn preseason episode, how we made our preseason picks and how we all thought we were going to go 12-5.
Yeah.
Now we're hoping we go 5-12.
I mean, anything. Any wins we can get in the remaining.
Wouldn't that be something though, is for us to go 5-12 after going 12-5, and Dan Quinn end up with a 500 record after 2 seasons?
I mean, it just for us, it just depends in these last 5 games. How healthy is our offense going to be, and will the defense remain to be improved?
Right. So your NFC East beast, you really went outside the box. There's not really much of a connection here to the East. You just went NFC beast for this week's episode. I respect it. Hey, we're making our own rules with this stuff. And you know what? I think because one of our loyal listeners that gave us the idea for this segment was an Eagles fan, I think anything we can do to kind of switch up what he had in mind for the segment just makes it that much better. So
I agree.
Screw you, Matt Unger.
Ooh.
We're not going to bleep it. All right. I think so we got our NFC East beast, Rams, and we've got our NFC East least, the Washington Commanders. So mark it in. We'll see what next week brings. We've got a bye week for the Giants, so I don't even think they can be a contender unless Jameis Winston says the F word on live television or something.
That's not likely.
But that'd be fun. He would definitely be the least, and we'd laugh about it, and we'd clip it for everybody. But he might be our beast, depending upon how he does. He might give us some awesome sound bites today.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's move on to our fourth quarter here and just get right into Minnesota Vikings. So what are your thoughts on them? Obviously, we know their head coach fairly well. Kevin O'Connell used to be on our staff, and he's been over there for a couple years. But that J.J. McCarthy guy, I don't think people had, he's not all that he's been cracked up to be. I think there's a little bit of seller's remorse in Sam Darnold for the fan base there. I wouldn't be surprised if they were wishing that their boy.
Well, he's still, he's still dealing with injuries, concussion, and whatever else he had this year. So you're probably right. There probably is a little bit of buyer's remorse, but with a I'll call him a second-year rookie quarterback because he set out. He was out his first season last season with, what was it, an Achilles injury or something. I think they're a little bit of an unknown for us because, which JJ is going to show up. What kind of team do they have? I think it's a little bit of an unknown because of his situation at QB right now.
Well, for whatever reason, and I don't know when the last time this season we were a favorite. It's been so long, and especially after 7-game losing streak. For some reason, we are a
Aren't we favored by
1.5 point favorite on the road, which is surprising. I mean, maybe that's just coming off of what we saw last week and playing a really tough Denver Broncos team all the way down to the 2-point conversion at the end of the game. And maybe there's some things that the Vikings are dealing with that we're not 100% aware of.
I mean, we're probably favored because JD is back. I think Noah Brown is back. Like, all of our offensive weapons are back. So that might be a huge factor in why we're favored, if only by 1.5 points.
I mean, if you're looking at the rest of our schedule, you can really just say the next 2 weeks here against Minnesota and the Giants are, because then we've got Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles. We know the Cowboys are going to be tough, but Minnesota and the Giants both have losing records. The Vikings right now standing at 4-8 is last in their division, but gosh, their division is so tough. You got the Bears on top at 9-3. You got the Packers at 8-3-1, that one to the Cowboys. Then you've got the Lions sitting there at 8-5, which is a surpriser to everybody. Yeah. But you know what? They're 8-5. No one's going to be shocked if they end up 12-5.
But even at 8-5, Detroit at some point had to go sort of on that downward trajectory for a while. And I think even at, 8-5, I think that's still their down season.
You're kind of seeing it in the AFC too with the Chiefs. They're having kind of
they're having a rough season for the Chiefs to be batting at 500.
Yep.
Like, that's a shitty season for them.
Oh, 100%. 6-6. I mean,
them going.
It's not like them.
Yeah, them being 500 at 6-6 is like us going 3-9. It's complete trash.
Yeah.
And they probably feel that their whole season is lost, but for them it is, because they're, they've made it to the AFC Championship 3 out of the last 4 seasons or something like that. So,
Yeah. But I'll tell you, like I was saying earlier, and we'll kind of get into what we think is going to happen or what will need to happen for us to come away with a dub. I think we're really going to have to defensively throw J.J. McCarthy off, get him running outside the pocket. If we let Justin Jefferson beat us, he will. He will. We can't give McCarthy enough time to get the ball off. We need to get.
We got to keep the pressure on.
The pressure's got to stay on, and then we got to stop the run. And now we're going to see Jefferson get some catches. He's going to make some impressive plays today. We just got to hope that it's in situations of the game that don't beat us.
I mean, hopefully he doesn't carve us up defensively like the Cowboys did, a few weeks ago.
I'll give Jefferson some catches today in their territory. Just, come on, tighten it up when he gets into our territory, because we know these teams can throw right over top and dump one in right on top of us. So
we've seen it practically all season in those big games.
Yeah. And then from our side of the ball, Jaden, we really curious to see how he comes back. I'm curious what type of bracing he's going to have on that arm, how much that's going to come into play. I'm curious about the play calling. Are we going to have some design runs? I mean, how healthy is the guy? And it's going to go back to that game where he got injured to me too, which is why aren't you diligently trying to protect him?
Yeah.
Which it seemed like it was the case.
And that's kind of my big key for us to think about winning this game is offensively, what team is going to show up? How effective is JD going to be? With Terry back, with Debo, like I said a few minutes ago, I think Noah Brown is back as well. So kind of having our offensive stars back and finally playing together, if they can sync up and if JD truly is ready to go, I think we've got a fighting chance to win this game, especially since we have I'll say, slightly improved defense as we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks since that change occurred.
Yeah. Noah Brown, I was looking it up here as you were talking. Noah Brown is back today. So be glad to have that wide receiver depth that we've been missing all season because, as soon as these guys are coming back and as we're signing these guys like Robbie Chosen off of the waivers and it's just glad to get a little bit back because then you got Luke go out.
Yeah.
It's just been a recirculating door there.
Right. Those couple of weeks there, literally our season imploded because it was one injury after another. Yeah. So hopefully, for these last 5 games, hopefully offensively, our team is back to what we expect or expected going into the season. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually feeling pretty good about today's game. I think it's going to be a fun game. We're playing Minnesota at their home. So, I mean, what is that thing they do pregame where they clap their hands?
The Viking, like a Viking horn or whatever.
No, the whole fan base does the clapping thing.
Yeah,
I wish we had something like that because it's pretty badass when the whole stadium is united and doing a chant or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of the tomahawk chop because we don't have it, but and I'm not sure why they're still allowed to have stuff like that. In Redskins
because they're making money. Okay.
But I like the tomahawk chop. I like the whatever the Vikings thing is. I like the terrible towel. I like when the fan base is all united in something like that. I wish we could do something.
We have the show. That's what we have.
Oh, that light show?
Yeah.
Does everybody else have
that pregame?
Is that our thing?
That pregame light show with the
but the fan base is just watching it.
with the video that tells us how great historically our team is and all the heritage. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
But I don't. It doesn't compare to the Viking stuff or the Kansas City stuff. But
that reminds me real quick. We didn't touch on in the first quarter. We'll just quickly. I mean, last week, dude, it was the same thing as the week before with the Lions. There was a lot of Denver fans there.
Oh yeah,
we're just throwing in the towel in the season? Everybody's just selling all their tickets and not going to these games anymore and just giving them the.
I think that's part of it, but I think it's the same issue that I think just that area has. Opponents always travel well against us. So
because of where we're located.
Yeah, because of where we're located. So I think it's always going to be difficult for us to have that kind of true home field advantage from a crowd standpoint. Unless, like last season, we're winning all the damn games, then yeah, we're going to overpower any. We
need to win.
Traveling fans.
If we win, then
if we win, people show up.
Holders and then the season ticket holders
right.
for Washington fans, and that's just how
because even in these losing seasons or like this losing season, the people that are showing up are your diehard season ticket holders. Because look at all the people that we sit around in the 2 sections. They're the diehards that are there every week.
Which I have been thinking about. As our season kind of dwindles down and we get to our to the end of everything, we get into the playoffs, and we really won't have like a recap section. I think once we get into the playoffs, I'd like to give the listeners some insight on our experiences, season ticket holders, and kind of what that's all about. And then we can kind of get into what our plans are for next season, because, man, they asking us to re-up, and so
decisions are being made.
And, after a season like this, you'd hate to find out that our season ticket prices are going up and we're getting one less home game, right? You'd hate to hear that.
It would be horrible if that were the case.
It's the case. So Mike and I have got some season ticket holder contemplations and weighing out the monetary value and the fun value, and we're still going to go. I mean, we're still going to be season ticket holders, but where do our seats go? We've been club level.
Yeah.
Do we give them up? Do we keep them? Do we spend the extra money?
We've got
What do we do? Anyway, we'll talk about that.
We've got decisions to make. So
we've got. I like how they give us deadlines so we can procrastinate all the way up to the day before. So, Ava, if you're listening, sorry, we're procrastinating. Anyway, let's kind of wrap things up here. So I have. In my picks already revealed to everybody that I am feeling the over of the 43 and a half points with my can't lose locks this week. So my final score prediction is going to be 30-20.
Okay.
I think we're going to put up 30, and I think they're going to put up 20. And I think we're going to win.
Okay. So I'll clue the listeners in a little bit. I originally picked us to lose this game in the pick'ems.
Oh, so you're locked in? You're locked?
But I switched it this morning.
Ooh, this morning? Okay.
Yeah, I switched it this morning. I originally went with the Vikings, and I was going to hold true with my prediction on the podcast, but I switched it this morning as I was kind of doing some final prep. I think we are going to win. I'll say, at least I hope that we do. And I think the score is going to be a little bit closer. I think we will win, but I think it's going to be 24-21.
Okay, 24-21. We win by 3.
And my logic for that is offensively with JD back, I think Terry, all of that, I think that's what's going to give us the win.
I love it.
I think he's going to basically will us to victory this
So
week.
you think in fourth quarter we got to drive down the field and kick the field goal, and we do with our new kicker, Moody.
Yeah.
I love that. I hope that happens. I hope it's not another overtime game. But your score could still ring true with an overtime game.
Right.
24-21. But yeah, we shall see. I am hoping that we finally see things click together like we started seeing them click in the second half of last week's game is really where I started to see things improve. So hopefully that continues on and we can finish this season off strong. But Mike, got anything else for the people?
Well, I'll give you some stats on the overall rivalry between us and
because we
Minnesota.
do play them. It seems like in recent memory, at least, we've played them a lot.
So we've played them 28 times, and that includes 5 postseason games. The Vikings lead the overall series 15-13. And the Vikings are 3-1 out of the last 4 games. If my stats are right, we last played them in 2022, I believe. But yeah, so it's a tight overall rivalry.
And we're hoping that we can make it a little tighter today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, we shall see. This is the point in the podcast, people, where, hey, if you've listened this long,
congratulations for making it this far.
And you know what? Shame on Tom. Shame on Tom for not getting his picks in this week.
Yeah,
we'll
It's just about 12:30, a little after. So yeah, he's usually the one giving you the prompt to get the picks in and stuff. So
Maybe we need to turn this around and say we hope he's okay.
he must be out and about. Maybe he's having brunch somewhere or something.
Yeah,
you know,
seems like something he would do. But yeah, but still, shame on him. Get your picks in. But so this week you've only got 4 picks, people. That's me. So lock them in with our Can't Lose Locks. But this is where we ask you, if you made it this far in the podcast, we really appreciate you tagging along with us. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a review. Mike, we've got no tailgate food for today. So this is why your homework is going to be good, because we're just going to order pizza or something. So
works for me.
But thank you all so much. We'll see you next week as we take on the Giants away for another away game. So thank you so much.
Give me a hell yeah! I said, give me a hell yeah!
Thanks for listening to the Command the Commute podcast. I now welcome you to crack a cold beer, cook up some chicken wings, and enjoy the football game. Because the Commanders, the team, the Redskins, or whatever else you call them, is gonna kick some ass. If this is a home game, Bob and Michael will be in the Red Zone lot at Northwest Stadium. We encourage you to come to our tailgate and say hello. If you are still listening to the podcast, wow, you are an extremely loyal listener. I wonder how much longer you'll stay. Hey, I've got a question. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? You've got mail. Goodbye.